the richest people, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure they've got access to, like, you know, some of the most luxurious, wonderful experiences in the world. But often you hear how, like, sad they are as people. So
you just think you think they have all those choices, but they really have no choices at all. You know, a more humbler person has more choices sometimes than the richest people in the world. I think it's just finding those moments. You know, I know I've had people who, you know, when I've shared something or someone's found something interesting, that's really satisfying to hear back that people have learned something from me or whatever. That is much more interesting. I would much prefer that. You know, whatever they end up doing from there is great. You know, just to have that kind of, it's not necessarily validation. It's just knowing that you've helped someone.
It's impact.
Yeah, it's having an impact on someone, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It does. It really helps, I think. So we're talking about having an impact on people. Has there been a moment where you've inspired someone else?
Ooh. I'd like to think on a daily thing, to be honest. No, there has been people who I've worked with professionally and, like, done networking strategies for them, and they've ended up pivoting because of that and then changed their entire business. And, you know, that's a wonderful thing. Yeah. But on more of, like, a personal level, every year I always do a post about the fact that, so I've been sober for it's 7 years this year. So 7 years of sobriety. And I think when you say that, sobriety, it kind of hits people and like, oh, well, you're like a, you know, what they in their mind see as like a raging alcoholic. And that wasn't the case for me, but alcohol always did have a really negative impact on my life. And I was one of those people that if I had a drink, I would keep drinking. I couldn't have just one. And it took me a long time to realize that. But when I realized that and I was able to realize I'm an all or nothing, all wasn't working, and it would have eventually taken me to a dark place. So I went for the nothing, and sobriety absolutely changed my life for the better. And thankfully, I chose that path before I became a mum, and, you know, all the wonderful things that have happened since, like, you know, having my daughter, starting the business, doing the PhD. I know that I wouldn't have done were it not for sobriety. So every year on I call it my soberversary, I'll do a little post on social media just to, you know, like, celebrate another year. It gives me another, like, birthday, and I buy myself something fabulous. And every year I get messages of people who are struggling, or they are aware of alcohol, their relationship with alcohol, something, and it's men, women, it's, you know, people who I've maybe not spoken to in years. And there's quite a few people who have decided to try sobriety as well, on the back of me sharing my journey with it. And they've said, you know, it was great to see an honest kind of take on it, that you don't have to be rock bottom to realize that you've got a negative relationship with it, I guess. Yeah. So that that really means a lot, because I know how much it's impacted my life. Yeah. So if I can share a story that's then going to help someone else in theirs, absolutely amazing. Yeah, because it's like they see someone in a similar situation to them who's made that decision. It might make that decision easier for them. I mean, for myself, I gave up drinking just as a choice. But what I didn't expect was, like, the challenges from other people. It was like I had no problems with it at all. Yeah. But once I gave it up, it was like that first night out, you know, first company night out I did. And everyone was like, "Oh, just have one." And it was like, it never happened before. Normally, people didn't suggest anything, and we were just quite the thing. Didn't have that kind of relationship with them, but they were all doing it. And I was like, luckily, it only happened that one time because they got it. I was like, if this hadn't been by choice, but for some other reason, I would have found that extremely difficult to stick with it. But thanks to, like, just it abated when people realized, and that was the end of that. But it was kind of a glimpse in the kind of pressure you can get, you know, from that. And I didn't realize I had been completely oblivious to it. I just thought, I'll just do this. I'm all right. But the other people it became this kind of issue that I didn't expect. I mean, it quickly went away, but it was the thing that took me by surprise. I didn't expect that at all. And, you know, it's good for those people to make that decision, and good that kind of post is something you do every year, because again, someone might be reading that and think, you know what, I need to, and all the things you've been able to do because of that decision, it might help them sort of realize they can achieve the things that they want. Yeah.